Hello, everyone, and welcome to LingnanSpeaks 2026. I'm very excited to be judging and observing this for the second time in a row. And I should take this opportunity to wish everyone happy Valentine's Day and also happy Lunar New Year at the same time. Oh, and one more, happy birthday to Ali. Three celebrations in one day. Yes. So this year, our topic focuses on dreams, but not on our individual aspirations. These dreams are on national and global levels. I'm sure you've all heard of the American dream. That's related to the freedom and opportunity to succeed and attain a better life. Then there's the British dream. Have you heard of that? Well, the British dream is the freedom to sit on a Spanish beach, getting burnt like an American lobster with French wine in your hand. No, let's get serious for a moment. What is the Chinese dream? That is the question our students have to answer today. I hope none of them will be having a nightmare performance. Okay, today at LingnanSpeaks, our students will be able to speak up and speak loudly. Unlike in my class, where it's usually like pulling teeth to get them to say any single thing. No, I'm just kidding, because one of my students is here. 10 students have been selected to perform at the final today, and the top 5 will be grabbing up to $1,500, which is probably going towards the latest limited edition Labubu. Well, without further ado, let's have a look at the rules for our rounds today. Oops, I've got the last year's topic on there. Please ignore that. The students who will be presenting were selected by our 5 visiting English tutors in the auditions a couple of weeks ago. And for the last 2 weeks, they have been mentoring the students, 2 each. They're going to be unbiased today. We're all going to be cheering all of them on. And they will need to present their prepared speeches, which they also presented to our visiting English tutors. No notes are allowed, and they will be judged on 3 things, as you can see. The content of their presentation skills, and also their pronunciation. And the top 5 students will be going through to our second round, which is the impromptu speech round. So I need to change the slide for that one. The impromptu speeches will be selected at, the topics will be selected at random, okay? And the students will be given their cash prize based on their rank in the second round only, okay? So I should also mention that the top 3 students today will be sponsored to go to the China Daily 21st Century Cup Hong Kong Regional Final. So, judges, you have a big decision to make. So, who are today's judges? Let's introduce them. We have Miss Angel Fan, a lecturer from SEAL. And Angel is our pronunciation expert. So she'll be meticulously writing down every sound and word that's mispronounced in those speeches. Then we have Mr. Daniel Poon, assistant lecturer from SEAL. And Daniel is our returning judge from last year, so he has really seen it all. And finally, we have Miss Sherry Wang, a student from Lingnan University, and Sherry was lucky enough to reach the China Daily competition last year, so she knows better than any of us what the judges there are expecting. Okay, judges, don't forget, after each student performs, we will need to ask one question. So you can decide between you which of you will ask the question to which student. And let's have a look at the timing and the schedule for today. So our first 5 speeches will take place from in a moment until about 10 past 3. After that, we're going to have a very short break because I'd love to hear what our judges think so far without giving too much away. Then we will have our second set of prepared speeches before the scores are announced. And the top 5 scores, obviously, the top 5 scorers will be going through to the second round, which will begin at about 10 minutes past 4. Okay. And after that, of course, we'll be awarding the prizes to the top 5 students. All right, I think I've done enough talking. So let's welcome student number 1 to give the first performance.
Hello, everyone. Um, okay. May I start my speech now? Okay. Have you ever asked yourself, what language is the Chinese Dream written in? Is it in Mandarin, English, or the language of power? Well, before coming here to Hong Kong, I have no idea what the Chinese Dream was, other than a political phrase. However, living here has gradually made me realize that the Chinese Dream now becomes part of my classroom experiences. Here, I don't just study to finish my degree, I'm also learning something even more important. I learn how dreams translate. A very long time ago, the Chinese dream was once a promise made to a nation. Like President Xi Jinping said, the Chinese dream refers to the national rejuvenation and a better life for the Chinese people. But today, we no longer live inside borders. We're living in a world where virus from one city can shut down the continent, where carbon from one factory can warm the ocean. So, in other words, we're living in a world that is constantly changing and shaped by problems that may make it almost impossible for one nation to just pursue its dream in isolation. And therefore, I believe that in the global context, the Chinese dream can no longer be only about China becoming strong. It must also be about how China connects with the world and learns the new language called the language of responsibility and dialogue. So, how China is going to achieve this, you may ask? Well, for me, the answer lies in education. In fact, today, China is not just building factories and trade routes, it's also building classrooms, international exchange programs, and research networks. Every year, China sends over 1 million students abroad while hosting nearly 500,000 of international students from more than 190 countries. These numbers show that China is using education not just as a tool of development, but also as a form of global engagement and soft power. But numbers alone might not change anything, right? A truly global Chinese dream also requires the openness to listening and to criticism. And such kind of things do not come from anywhere far away, but right from the daily classrooms. Let me take you back to my first lecture here in Hong Kong as an international student. My class welcomed students from mainland China, Hong Kong, Europe, many nationalities. And we were debating on the role of AI in university education, where one Chinese girl came up and said, I believe that AI should completely be banned. And not long after that, another German girl just jumped in and then said, no, I don't agree with you. I think AI remains a critical tool for university students. Well, no one was right or wrong here. What matters is more about the process. We listened, we disagreed, and respected one another at the time. And that was also the moment when I realized that that dialogue is harder than dominance, but it's also more powerful at the same time. And that the Chinese dream now is no longer written by one country. It's actually negotiated through many different voices. And since then, I started to see my future in a different way. As an English studies student, I'm not just learning how to speak English better. I'm also learning to use my language skills to translate values and misunderstandings to better explain China to the world and the world to China. Whether through education or cross-cultural communication, my goal is to stand between different voices, not to decide who is right, but to make sure that no one is unheard. Because in a global classroom, misunderstanding can even be more dangerous than disagreement. So now, if you ask me what the Chinese dreams means in the global context, I would just tell you to look at the classroom where students argue politely, disagree intelligently, and learn to see the world through their own borrowed eyes. And that's also the moment when I believe that the Chinese dream speaks the most powerfully in the global context. Thank you.
You so much for your insightful speech, which is very well prepared. You should be very proud of yourself. So I'm particularly interested in asking you these questions. So what's your take on the use of AI tools or the scope of the AI tools to realize this Chinese dream in the future?
Well, actually, I mentioned AI in my speech is because, well, I mean, AI is literally one of the most like common and also like yeah, one of the most popular topics that a lot of people are talking about. And if we put this in the global context, we can see that I believe that no countries today can really pursue its national goals, in isolation because we have problems like AI, or not just AI, but we have global pandemics or climate change that automatically connect one country's success to other countries. So yeah, I think in this case, it's more about the ability of one country to, like China, to communicate, to have dialogue and responsibility with other countries at the same time. And yeah,
Thank you very much.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's welcome student number 2.
When I first came to China, I was fascinated by how technology was advanced in every corner I looked at. High-speed rails and convenient MTR stations made me believe that China already lives in the future. All these technological advancements and rapid pace of industrialization are not just infrastructure. They are part of the Chinese dream. Chinese dream, it is a national spirit that connects all Chinese people under one common goal: to build a sustainable and prosperous future. However, this dream does not rely only on manufacturing and tech alone, but it also depends on its people who keep their traditions alive. This national dream is engraved on everyday life practices of ordinary Chinese people, their moral values and philosophy, written by generations. A path for this dream starts from small steps like respecting elderly, having family gatherings that deepen the understanding of family connections, and also having strong discipline. Thus, we can see how traditions are the most valuable thing we have. This encourages a sense of belonging that is important for citizens when they're all pursuing their common dreams. As a Kazakh person, I have noticed that both China and Kazakhstan share many traditions together. For example, both countries believe that marriage is the continuation and beginning of new life, that collectivity interests are always above the personal ones, and that family, civilization, and institution are the most important things in order to nurture a future generation. All of these things together help me realize that Every nation wants to build a good future for its citizens. But in trying to find the best way forward, they forget the most valuable thing they have: their cultural roots and the wisdom passed down from their grandparents. This is exactly what we can learn from Chinese dream. Thus, we can see how we can together build our own national dreams. In order to build our own national dreams, we don't need to rely and copy success made by other countries. We just need to build our own success by relying on the most important thing we have: our cultural values and traditions. At the end of my speech, I just want to highlight one thing. Every culture is unique, and this is exactly what gives harmony and colorfulness to our world. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. We'll now have one question from the judges.
Okay.
Right. Thank you very much for such an impressive performance. So I have a very quick question for you. So in your speech, you mentioned that you think that family is very important, and so the cultural roots and wisdom, cultural values, etc. So if you have to compare them, which one do you think is more important?
So you mean family constitution and which I should compare?
And also about the culture.
Okay. So we can see how in Chinese culture, actually, family always brings and plays an important role. Since children are born, they are taught to respect their elderlies. They're taught to be a compliant child and don't do any, nasty things. And when we compare it with other cultures, like for example, some European cultures, we can see that those children, they are more like lenient. Their parents are always like encouraging them, like spoiling them and so on. But what I can see from Kazakhstan and China is that both those countries, they are very strict when it comes to having good family upbringing. Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now welcome student 3 to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Have you ever imagined a river at sunrise? Does it rush or boast? No, it simply flows. Quiet, calm, and purposeful, also carrying life far beyond where it began. I come from two different rivers. The first one is the Iao River in Myanmar, where I was born. It teaches me that real strength is quiet. The second one is here in Hong Kong, the city where stands the Pearl River meet the South China Sea. So here I began asking a question that changed how I see the world. How does the Chinese dream really mean far beyond the China? So many people might answer with numbers of railways or ports, or even megawatts of clean energy. But dreams are not made of numbers, right? So let's think about this. How can a child without electricity can dream in statistic? He can only dream light after dark. So when I hear the Chinese dream, I don't see a monument. I just see a slogan. It's our choice. It's about choosing connection over conflict and balance over waste. So here, I have learned that ecological civilization is not just a slogan. It's about choosing over waste, choosing balance over waste, and connection over conflict. So my mother once said, a dream that only kept to yourself fades. A shared dream grows. To me, the Chinese dream is not about export. It's about exchange. It's our chance to act together what a prosperity really means. Is it having more things? Having more time with the family? Having more dignity? Clean air or fresh water? My generations are asking this question not in boardrooms, but in rice field, solar farms, and university library. So we are not waiting for the answer, we are building them together. I'm still learning and also crossing the river. But I know this, I am the bridge, a bridge that connects my mother village and a city of towers, a bridge between the Pearl River and the EOD River, a bridge between the Chinese vision, the Myanmar hope, and a shared global future. A bridge never asks where the water came from. It just asks, where do you need to go? How can I help you flow? That's my dream. Not to make all the river the same, but to let them all flow together into a sea cleaner, kinder, and the one that we have inherited. So when someone asks me, what is the Chinese dream in a global context? I don't give them a policy brief. I ask them a question. Whose dream will you help carry forward? Mine is already flowing. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now have one question from the judges.
So much for your nicely prepared speech. I particularly like the idea of the metaphor of rivers and the bridge that you mentioned. So can I ask you, what is the state of the river right now, of this 21st century? Do you think it's calm flowing or turbulent on the, what we can see on the surface? Can you describe it a bit to us, please?
Thank you for the question. And so when you have to talk about the river that is flowing all over the world, so we know that's all it's like happening ups and downs these days, especially for our country. So now we can say that the river is not very calm. So we need the youth like us to calm that river, or we need the youth us to build a bridge, right, to flow that river to connect all over the world. That's how I see the river. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, time for student number 4.
When I was a child visiting my grandparents' village, they told me stories of a different time, a time where opportunities were rare and big dreams were only whispered, if at all dreamt. Today, I stand before you with opportunities that they could only imagine. That transformation from whispered hopes to boundless possibilities is a story that many of us share. But how does this relate to Chinese dream? Well, the term itself represents a national vision of Chinese citizens towards social advancement, prosperity, and rejuvenation of Chinese nation. But it is relatable because at its core, I believe Chinese dream is about connection between past and future, between individuals and nations, and between local goals and global hopes. When I hear the phrase Chinese dream, I not only think about prosperity or success, but of possibilities. The belief that every effort, no matter how small, matters. It is a dream that is rooted in China's journey, but now resonates and extends far beyond its borders. So I view Chinese dream not as a wall, but as a bridge. And as a bridge, it is an open invitation. But connection doesn't happen automatically, does it? It depends on us, ordinary students, professionals, and global citizens. In a time where knowledge and ideas transfer swiftly, Chinese dream is also about responsibility. It asks us, it asks me, how will I use my education? Will I use it to build walls of misunderstandings or bridges of dialogue?
For our generation, living in a time of both opportunity and challenge, this means becoming global citizens, curious, open-minded, and responsible. It means becoming architects of connection. We are all asked to become mirrors and windows, a mirror that reflects on the shortcomings and success of our people, and a window that forges collective action and collective growth. In general, Chinese dream is not just about China rising. It is about how we rise together. It is about how we learn from our mistakes, listening across borders, and knowing that our dreams are intertwined. If we can see every setback, personal or national, as a feedback, then every challenge is an open invitation to think deeper, act wiser, and go further beyond than before. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll now have one question from our judges.
Thank you so much for your beautiful speech prepared for us. I do want to know, as an architect of connection, as you mentioned, how will you realize this responsibility? How are you going to deliver this responsibility to connect as a bridge when you graduate? Can you let me know?
Sure. So personally, I'm not a Chinese citizen. I am from Pakistan. And when I talk about connection, when we think about Chinese dream, as I said, it's not restricted to China, but it extends far beyond its border. So I talked about education. And as you said, asked me a question about after my graduation. So I intend not to be just a citizen of Pakistan and not just even a citizen of a continent. I see myself as a global citizen. So I'm open for opportunities far beyond than the borders of my country or borders of Hong Kong or China. I intend to use my knowledge, whatever that is, my skills, whatever that is, my achievements so far, to provide services to global citizens, not just Asia, maybe Europe, Latin America, and North America. This is something that I've also learned from my journey in Lingnan so far. It is education for service, but that slogan does not say it's education for service in Hong Kong. It says education for service. So it's open to the globe, to the world. So I intend to use my knowledge, whatever that is, to provide my service to the whole world.
Okay, we'll now welcome student number 5 to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. When you hear the phrase, the Chinese dream in a global context, what would you think of? I think most of us will agree that it sounds quite big and political, right? However, in my life, it looks much more simple. Social media, yes, like TikTok and the Chinese version of Instagram, Red Notes. You may be really confused why, but please let me tell you my story. I grew up in an ordinary Chinese family in Shanghai. My parents' dream for me was quite clear. Study hard, go to a university, apply for a job, get a master's degree or bachelor's degree, work in the same occupation and company until you die. Apparently, my parents wish me to work in a 9-to-5 job, even if it is in the cost of my health and happiness. What about my dream? I wasn't so sure until I discovered how alive and expressive I felt in front of a camera. It all started quietly. I filmed myself in my tiny bedroom, my phone balanced on a stack of books. I putting on makeups that I would never dare to wear outside. And suddenly, everything changed. I posted a few photos and videos. People all around the world started commenting, liking, and sharing my videos. "Oh, you look so confident. I love your makeup. I love your clothes. I love your style. You look very international." And that in that moment, I suddenly realized my face, my clothes, my style were no longer just me. It had become a part of what China looks like to them, to the people, to the foreigners, to the people online. For my parents, I keep the value of stability. I keep learning new languages, real skills, how to read a contract, learning new languages. And I want them to see my work is not just about taking selfies. It is about planning. It is about effort and negotiation. For me, I keep the courage to be different. I try different makeup styles, new editing techniques. I film myself in a 5 a.m. in an empty airport. I say yes to a job in a city I've never seen before. For me, the Chinese dream in a global context is like this. A girl from an ordinary family, just like you and me, will move between cultures, build connections to show a China that is modern, complex, and deeply humane. I hope people don't only see China as stereotypes. I hope they see individuals, students, artists, teachers, engineers, content creators, each with their own version of beauty. Thank you.
Sorry. Yes, one question from the judges. I'm sorry.
Right. Thank you for your talks, and I really like your authenticity. So I have a question for you. So you mentioned that, especially at the very end, you mentioned that we have to appreciate different forms of beauty. So I wonder, could you tell me what's your beauty?
Oh, so my version of beauty is very individual. I think the so-called beauty standard doesn't exist. I think each occupation, each individual has their own version of beauty. Like teachers, they put their effort to teach the new generations, to building a better cities, like engineers, for students. We learn new languages in the university, and we contribute to our home city after we graduate. So the beauty for me is quite individual and complex. It varies from person to person. It doesn't have a standard.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, before we welcome student number 6 to the stage, let's check in with our judges who've been scribbling away over there, Angel. So, should I be worried for the students, or has their pronunciation been holding up?
I think the students should be very proud of themselves, blown away by how prepared all these speeches are put together, and a lot of time and effort must have been put into practicing. So I don't want to give it away, but I do have some top performances that
Oh.
really standing out. What about you, Daniel and Sherry?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I think all of them are very well prepared, and if I were them, I'm sure I would be very, very nervous. But they definitely performed. I think perhaps they performed better than they expected as well, and they used many, many skills, and so yeah, very, very nice.
Okay, and how about you, Sherry? Having been on the stage yourself, do you think they have done a really good job, or you're worried that you could actually beat them? They're not that good.
I think they did a really good job because last year I was doing exactly the same things and I was standing on the stage, trembling my legs and shaking my hands, and I couldn't even think of like, could I finish? I couldn't even imagine like whether I could finish my speech or not last year. So seeing their performance, I was like so impressed and I learned a lot from them as well. So yeah, I think they did a really good job.
Yes, definitely. So far, the performances have been excellent. So I think we should welcome number 6, right? Let's welcome number 6 to the stage. She's not here yet. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. We talk about the Chinese dream, right? And we think of it in many different perspectives. I look at it a little bit differently. So the idea of it itself is for a national rejuvenation, right? As we've heard. There is a very specific 4-type slogan that is attached to it. So there are 4 parts, as we must know. It's strong China, beautiful China, a harmonious nation called China, and a civilized China. Now, I really wanted to dig into it. I really wanted to see what all of this was about. I really wanted to see what President Xi was trying to get at when he told the speech. So I looked at it a little differently. So I decided if there was a person, if I imagine a person without any physical traits, without any personality traits, and I give that one person all these qualities. So a strong person with civilized moral, a beautiful person, and someone who believes in harmony, if I put all of those into perspective, we see development. We see growth in that person. So I think what he was trying to get at was not for us to look at it as a nation, but to individually characterize ourselves to go towards growth, right? I'm from Pakistan, right? A third world country, but I've got a secret. I was born and raised in Beijing. So I lived there for 20 years of my life. And I've seen it firsthand how people in China, they work. They really do. They put in the work, they put in the effort. Why? Because they're collective. They don't think individually, they think collectively. They believe in collectivity. And this is something that I want to see in other countries as well, other struggling countries, other third world countries like my own. For example, let's take South Sudan, for example, right? South Sudan has a poverty level of 80%. China has a poverty level of less than 0 as of 2025. So it really speaks volumes when one country tries to put in the effort, everyone rises with it, right? And it's not something that happened overnight. It happened throughout a course of time. My father himself, actually, he studied in Tianjin in Nankai University for his bachelor's degree. And he was telling me how when he came to China, everything was different. There was nothing. And then he saw the development. That is some fruit that I keep to myself. And he told me, if you have patience, the fruit will always be sweeter. And I think that revolves around us in many other aspects in life too. I would love to see the literacy rate of other countries rise. Like, for example, Pakistan's literacy rate is just 60%. There are countries that are, I look at this as a humanitarian thing. I don't look at it just as a national, broad spectrum. So that is what I was trying to get at when President Xi said this. One thing I learned living in China, it was that dreams are just a thought. If you just refer to our favorite scholar, let's say Google, right? Google tells us that a dream is basically just a thought, an image perhaps that goes on to someone's mind of how people think. If it's a dream, then anyone can dream, right? So I too have a dream. And I think if I have a dream, so can everyone else. And that is what President Xi was telling us, that dreams are not confined by geography. They are not confined by an academic topic. I might be standing here giving a speech, but let's be honest, I do want to do better.
Okay, thank you very much. We will now have a question from the judges.
Right, thank you very much for your speech. Right, so I have a very quick questions. So you mentioned that to have a Chinese dream is very important to focus on a concept called collectivity. So I wonder, how do you think the Chinese government to do to bring the Chinese people together?
I think it goes without saying that if there is one thought, one leader that dreams towards the same thing, they have the power to convince their nation to do so. So within people, they all believed in one thing, which was unity and strength and growth all together. So that alone, that sense alone was just, oh, our leader wants us to do better. Why wouldn't we want to do better as well? I think that's the thought that they carried with themselves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, it's now time for student 7.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my great honor to stand here and share my thoughts with you. The topic of my speech today is the Chinese dream in a global context. When I mention the phrase Chinese dream, what first comes to your mind? I believe each of you holds a unique vision, a vision of hope that helps us always cope, a vision of light that guides us through the night, a vision of might that makes our future bright. My grandpa says the Chinese dream is about working hard to make life better, turning poor fields into fertile land and helping rural children go to school. He grew up at a time when even having enough to eat was not easy. Yet he always told me, our family's dream is connected to the country's dream, and the country's dream is connected to the dreams of the whole world. My mom says the Chinese dream is a passport that took her from a small town to international meetings. It's a translation app that helped her to communicate with partners from Africa and Europe. When she talks about Chinese handicrafts around the world, her eyes shine. The Chinese dream is not about our own progress, she says. It's also about sharing what we have with the globe. Well, to me, the Chinese dream is something I started to understand when I did homework with exchange students from all over the world. And I realized the Chinese dream isn't something we chase alone. It's a shared journey, made richer by the friends we made and the connections we built across the world. Let's take a moment to imagine Chinese dream in the past. Picture this. Caravans loaded with silk and tea along the Asian Silk Road. Merchants exchanging goods and smiles with strangers from distant lands. It was a dream of connection, built on mutual respect and shared prosperity, where different cultures met not to compete, but to learn from each other. Now, compare that to today. Technology has erased borders. We can video chat with a classmate in New York while eating dumplings, and a Chinese app can help a Kenyan farmer sell his crops globally. The Chinese dream today is no longer just about catching up. It's about working together. But don't get me wrong. The core of the Chinese dream is still rooted in the desire for a better life for all people. And it is a belief that we can achieve more by working with others. Just like the Asian Silk Road, the spirit of harmony. We don't seek to dominate, we seek win-win results. We don't force our ways on others, we learn from each other. Living in a global context, the essence of the Chinese dream remains unchanged. It's still about people, progress, and hope. Globalization has only an expanded expression, offering more ways to collaborate and create. As we move forward, let's cherish the opportunities brought by globalization, and let us always remember the Chinese dream belongs to all who believe in progress, cooperation, and a better future. This is the end of my speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We now have a question from one of our judges.
You mentioned a lot of ways to achieve Chinese dream. So my answer is, for a university student, what should be the hardest to practice in our daily life, and how would you address it?
Thanks for your question. I think as a university student, we can not do that kind of thing that is very big because we don't have the ability and we don't have such skills. So just as a mainland student, I live in mainland, so maybe I can just do to cooperate the Shenzhen with Hong Kong. So maybe I will go to Shenzhen and share my stories with mainland school students about what Hong Kong like, and I will tell them, so you can just go to Hong Kong and let us play together. So this is what I can do. And if I grow up, maybe I will go to the higher and master degrees in Hong Kong, and I will meet a lot of new friends and new teachers, so I can expand my knowledge more a bit. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Okay, we're now going to welcome student number 8 to the stage.
What does a dream mean to a nation of 1.4 billion people? As President Xi said before, in 2012, it is a great rejuvenation of China, a vision of China to become powerful, harmony, and beautiful once more. However, today, I would like to talk about the Chinese dream in a global context, not just within our own borders. Throughout the history, China has already contributed greatly to the whole world, inventing paper, compass, silk through the old Silk Road. After a difficult period of challenges, the Chinese dream is about to restore our own dignity and confidence, not through dominance, but through contribution and cooperation. In our modern and interconnected world, no nation can succeed in isolation. A strong and powerful China can contribute and create more opportunities for other countries. Under the project of Belt and Road, China has already built basic infrastructure like roads, railways, ports in dozens of countries. When those remote villages gain electricity and when the farmers can transport goods more easily, this is how the Chinese dream being realized, expanding the borders and benefit others. One moment that touched me was when I was watching TV about Kenya village lighting up for the first time. The joy on those children's faces is not about electricity. It's about hope, opportunity, and shared humanity. That image stayed with me, making me realize that Chinese dream isn't confined to China. It is a power that lifts the whole world. After I realized this, it made me believe that when China thrives, it's creates ripples of progress that touches everyone and everywhere. The China's contribution can benefit other countries, not just for our own. Every nation has its own aspirations. The American people may want to chase for individual success and freedom, and the Europeans may want to prioritize environmental protection and social stability. The people in the developing countries seek for a better quality of life. However, instead, the Chinese dream isn't conflict with any of this. Instead, it can align and support them. As President Xi said before, actually the whole world people share the same goals: lasting peace, social stability, and a better quality of life. The China's rise and contribution can benefit to other countries and have much more stronger stability and power to lift other countries. Therefore, Chinese dream in a global context isn't just about a competition. It's more like a lasting peace, a meaningful development, and a win-win cooperation. Let us embrace a future where one nation's success lifts others and where dreams has no borders. Thank you.
Thank you. We will have a question from one of our judges first.
Thank you very much for sharing with us your interpretation of the Chinese dream. So you've mentioned a lot on the national level of achievements. How about the societal level and individual level? Do you care to elaborate further on that, on the idea of Chinese dream, on that two levels, please?
In society level and individual level. As for Chinese people or the whole, as for Chinese people. Well, first of all, for society level, I think Chinese dream, as our country is growing better and developing much more stronger than before, under society level, the people can have more opportunities to receive better quality of educations and other basic social welfare system. And not just for the normal people, but it can cover all range of people in China, from the elderly to the young person. Because just for example, in Hong Kong, I think I know the welfare system. I've done the research. The welfare system in Hong Kong is really strong and really well covered all kind of people, no matter the homeless people. We can remove the artifacture technologies and those benches around the road for the homeless people to sleep. And for the young people in Hong Kong, I know they don't have Gaokao or something else. They can have a easier way to get in better schools. I think it's, yes, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will now welcome student 9 to the stage.
When you hear the Chinese dream, what comes to mind? A stronger China? Perhaps. But what if this dream is not just about China itself, but has a lot to do with the rest of the world? Today, I want to explain how the Chinese dream connects to all of us. John Naisbitt, an American futurist, said, China is no longer just a participant. It is becoming one of the architects of the global system. The bridges it builds, no matter physical or digital, are defining the future connection mode. As we can see from the Belt and Road Initiative, China aims at building roads, railways, ports across Asia, Africa, and Europe. This is like building new arteries to the global system. And also, it connects people through student exchanges, cultural events, and so on. I would say that it even affects my study life. I remember clearly that once I was preparing a report on a global program. After studying the history of China's development of the Belt and Road Initiative, me and my partner all agreed that it was the most worth mentioning. And that was the moment I physically touched this bridge. It wasn't just concrete and steel, it was the flow of knowledge. Not only that, China is sharing what it has learned to the world. From lifting millions of poverty to contributing to public health, you can see China's silent support behind, or you can say China's efforts have spread to every corner of the world. The humanitarian spirit and dedication make the Chinese dream unique. What I want to emphasize most is the community with a shared future for mankind. This is the core global message behind the Chinese Dream. As we all know, our world is deeply interconnected. No country can solve big problems like pandemics, climate change alone. So, China keeps this in mind, contributing to the world with its own strength, adding a glimmer of light to the world with its own tolerance. Success is measured not by who is on top, but by whether we all move forward together. Some people may ask, is the Chinese dream just about China becoming the most powerful? The answer is no. Its core value is about the shared development and mutual benefit. All in all, the Chinese dream in a global context is about three things. First, connecting the world physically and digitally. Second, contributing solutions to global issues. Third, promoting a cooperative vision for a shared future. In our today's world full of challenges, we need more bridges, not walls. We need more sharing, not selfishness. The Chinese dream, at its best, offers this kind of collaboration. Understanding this is key to understanding China's role in the 21st century, and perhaps to building a better world for everyone. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now have a question from one of our judges.
Okay.
Right. Thank you very much for your speech. So you mentioned that the Chinese dream is closely connected all over the world.
Yeah.
So I wonder what you can do in order to achieve this Chinese dream.
So can you repeat that question again?
Yeah. So what do you think you could do in order to achieve this Chinese dream?
Well, I think we can when some country they're facing some troubles, we can lend a helping hand, and I think we can take China as a model because China is building a network, letting every country to take part in the social activities. Like it not only builds the digital connectivity, sharing information with no boundaries, but also the mental connectivity. Although people with different backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds, China is sharing, it's tolerant everybody and to build a better world. I think.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will now welcome student number 10, the last student, but not the least, to the stage.
Okay, so today I want to share the questions have stuck in my mind for a long time. What's this Hong Kong cultures? Like if we talk about dim sum or char sius, it's Cantonese. If we talk about the buildings like the clock towers in Tsim Sha Tsui is British. Is it just a mix of Chinese and British cultures? Being born and raised in Hong Kong, I don't even know how to define Hong Kong or to say, like, not mentioning the cultures of it. So I went back in time to see what the history has to say. In 1950s, there's only 1.6 million people residing in Hong Kong. 10 years later, there's a leap of that numbers. It surged to 4 million people. It's a really astonishing findings for me. Like how in a short period of time, Hong Kong has grown so much in populations. Like it's also explained why I also always find Hong Kong so crowded that everywhere I can see people everywhere, even in the mountains. So, because at that time, you know, it's between 1940s to 1960s, there's a war going on. Chinese, especially in the South, they fled to Hong Kong because of the war going on at that time. It's including my grandparents and then they come from a small place in Guangdong province called Taishan, as we still call it a hometown. And people at that time don't see Hong Kong as a place for they will stay for the rest of their life. It's just a temporary shelters. Things started to change in 1970s when economy started to thrive and people have a better living standard. We start to have a concept what Hong Kong is. We have the saying of Lion Rock spirit that it represents that of dedications, unity, adaptability, and fighting against difficulty. It was shown in a recent event happening in Hong Kong, the Taibo fire. Many of people lost their life and their home. What we see Hong Kong people do to impress the world, they volunteer, thousands of their volunteers to help out the situations almost immediately. And the people residing overseas also holding events for fundraisings. I think this level of spirits is not just in Hong Kong, it's also shared in China too. Let's say the Belt and Road Initiative, we bring the nation together, strengthen the bondings of cooperations. We support the developing countries by funding the critical infrastructures and sharing our expertise.
Okay, time is up. Thank you very much. We'll now have a question from one of our judges.
Thank you very much for walking us through a brief history of Hong Kong. So when you mentioned the Lion Rock spirit, how do you relate it to the Chinese dream of today's topic?
I think this is a dream of Chinese in the past. Like it's not just in Hong Kong, it's also in mainland. Like it's for a long period of time after opening up. It's what the Chinese does to have what we have today. Like China has been developing very fast after that time. So I think this is also a representation of Lion Rock spirit, not limited to the Hong Kong. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Now we have a few minutes to calculate the scores. All of our students will be coming back in for the announcement in a few minutes. While we do that, let's check in with our fate deciders to see what or how they feel about the performances today. So, Angel, can you give us your overall thoughts on the students and also be honest with us? Has your pen run out of ink from all the pronunciation errors?
Well, in fact, I looked not at the minute representations of sounds. It's more on the structure of the speeches, how the ideas are being presented, the presentation style, and most importantly, the content of the speeches. I particularly like how the very tightly structured ones that started with maybe a bigger picture and then slowly funneling to smaller real life kind of examples to show how the Chinese dream is being realized. And I also like those that shared from their personal experiences as well, and how from the personal level can be taken to familial level, societal level, and then to the governmental level. So it shows that all the students have put into a lot of thoughts how to structure their speeches. So I'm very much impressed.
Great. Okay, Daniel, you've now officially survived 2 years of judging. So is there anything the students did today that surprised you, or any advice you'd like to give them before the next round?
Yeah, so talking about surprising, I really like that one of the contestants uses her passport to demonstrate her point, which is very, very impressive in a way. And yeah, overall, I really like that everyone shares different ideas to the topic. And yeah, that's pretty much
Okay,
it.
thank you. And then Sherry, okay, any final words of advice for our students? Or are you just relieved nobody's asked you to give a speech this year?
Yeah, I'm quite relieved because I think Chinese dream is a really difficult topic to say, like much more difficult than mine. So yeah, I think they did it really well.
Yeah, definitely. A very difficult topic and some very good speeches. So I believe I can now announce the top 5 students who are all guaranteed some dosh. Luna, I need the number, yeah? Okay. Okay, in no particular order, the 5 students who are going to the next round. Student number 2. Student number 1. Student number 7. Student number 9. And student number 4. Congratulations to everyone. Okay, for the top 5 students, we will now ask you to come to the stage to take your impromptu speech topics. To determine how much money they will win, okay, they need to go through our next round, the improvised speech round. And in that round, they have 20 minutes to prepare their speeches. Then they need to talk for 3 minutes on stage. The judges will once again be, yeah, please come to the stage to get your topics. The judges will be judging on the same criteria once again, but this time the scores will be reset. So whoever was first place in the last round, it doesn't matter, okay? All right. We'll give you your topics, and then you'll be asked to go to MBG 10 for 20 minutes to prepare. Okay? Okay, I believe time starts now. So we better go to MBG 10 and prepare. Good luck, everyone. So it is time for the impromptu speech round. Our top 5 students will once again come to the stage to showcase their brilliance or their ability to wing it, considering it's improvised. They'll deliver an unprepared speech on a random topic that they were given 20 minutes ago. And they have been thoroughly writing their ideas down in their minds. But once again, no notes, no cue cards will be allowed for this round. And the judges will once again be scoring them on the same criteria. Okay. So let me reveal the order of the speeches. Student number 9 will be presenting first in this round. And then student number 7. Student number 4, you will be the third person to speak. Then student 2, and finally student 1. Okay, and all 5 of them will be watching from the audience while their competitors do their speeches. Okay, let's not prolong their agony anymore. Let's welcome student 9 to the stage. Do they have scorecards? Okay, student number 9 will be talking about job satisfaction is more important than salary when choosing a job. Your time starts now.
So before starting the speech, I want to ask a question. Do you prefer a job which you're more satisfied with or a job with a higher salary? This is a hard question because a job with which you're most satisfied with is more like in your comfort zone and you're more interested in that job. You can have more ideas with that job at which you can like use your strengths to solve some problems. But with a job, but sometimes you may face a problem which is you cannot even pay for your other things because the lowest salary sometimes like I need to see a concert, but I don't have the money to like to pay for them. And the job with a high salary, it's always um, although it is sometimes a little bit boring, but you can like have more money to do what you want to do and what you have to do. So based on my experience, I want to say that I used to be a person who is more considering the like the job satisfaction because before I want to be a fashion designer when I grow up, I need to earn money and I need to be the top fashion designer. And I think that is not so realistic. When getting into the college, I found that it is hard to even find a job. And the situation is sometimes people will like get a job with a lower salary or something they don't like. So what I want to emphasize is we need to consider the both conditions, but not the one we need to choose because both of the conditions are very important. Like the job satisfaction decide whether you will start with this job, but the high salary of the job means that whether you will continue to do this job. So from bring my speech to the close, I think both of the two conditions need to be considered. And I would say that only with these two conditions, we can like get a better job. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions, right? Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, student number 9. Let's welcome student 7 to the stage. And student 7's topic is traveling outside of your own country makes us more understanding of others. Your time starts now.
Think about it. What will happen if there are only one country in the whole world? That's ridiculous, right? But fortunately, we have many countries in the whole world. Have you ever decided where to go in the Spring Festival? Have you ever decided? Well, as well for me, I haven't decided yet because I need to do my LUE 0003 homework in my home. Okay, what's the meaning of the word traveling? Just a place to another place, a country to another country? I think the answer is no. Let me give you two experiences of myself. I went to Australia maybe when I'm in primary school, and the kangaroos are running in the land, the koala are sleeping in the trees, and I'm getting sick because I didn't dress up when I finished my swimming. And my mom says, "Doctor, where's the doctor?" And the doctor says, "Well, calm down, calm down. The first thing you need to do is just sleep in your room and eat some rice." My mom says, "Oh, rice? Only some rice is okay? You don't need to have some medicine?" And I say, "Okay, just listen to the doctors." And only 1 day later, and my fever got okay. So I think in the Chinese culture, we need to have some medicines. But in Australia or another country, you no need to take medicines because the medicine really hurts us a lot. And let me take another example. In 2020, I went to United States for traveling, and it is COVID-19, so I didn't buy the flight for come back. So I just stay in USA and I go to their school in the United States. And the school, they have the class, right? The class is 45 minutes, but the break is very small. It's just about 3 minutes break. We don't have time to go to the toilet. And I feel so sad why you don't give me the time to go to toilet. And I asked the teacher, "So how can I go to toilet? There are only 3 minutes. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. I want to go to toilet." And the teacher told me, "Calm down, calm down. Even we need to already finish our school. So the school ended in maybe about 3 p.m. clock in afternoon. So people don't need, the American people that doesn't want to have much break time. So they no need to have the 10-minute break or 15 minutes break. So 3 minutes is just okay for them. And lots of classmates will go to the toilet during the class. I think it's bad because I can not learn what the teacher said in the class. So I think traveling in another country really changed us a lot because I can get to know with other the food culture, maybe the dress culture and the eating culture, that kind of things, even though the additional culture. So this culture exchange really can change us a lot. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, student 7. Our next student number 4. Let's welcome her to the stage. And student 4's topic is, it is the responsibility of the family to take care of the elderly. Your time starts now.
Human life is so hard, isn't it? It's full of responsibilities. Let me talk about one responsibility that is often debated. Do you guys think it's our responsibility to take care of the elders in our family? Well, I don't know about you guys, but I wholly agree with this statement. And it is based on 2 reasons. It is on the grounds of social dynamics and social structure. And secondly, based on pure human nature. I say social structure and social dynamics because we all know that humans are known as social animals. As social animals, we need social connections and social relationships. And the best relationship or social relationship, according to me, is family relationship, because it is based on an inherent link that is biological in nature. No one can erase this connection to your family. No force in the world can erase this connection. Because of this inherent connection or biological connection, we have this inherent love for our family members. And showing love requires taking care of the family members. Secondly, I view human interactions or human actions as purely transactional in nature. There is a give and take. So when I say that human behavior, human actions is transactional, I also view family relation as transactional, but intertemporal in nature. When I was born,
My family took care of me. They still provide for me, my education, my health, and so many more. And I do think that at some point when my family needs me or the elderly in my family needs me, I have to take care of them. Many people would agree that when I say responsibility, it's very restrictive in nature. You might say that it bounds you to take care of your family. But when I say that I agree that we should take care of our family members, and it is our responsibility to take care of our family members, I don't mean that you should be the one feeding your elderly. I don't mean that you should be the one taking them to hospital. What I mean is that by any means, but just providing for them. You can hire a nurse and employ a nurse to take care of them. You can take them to a very good elderly home. This is also a way of showing care. Basically, having a responsibility to take care of your elderly in the family means that giving them the time. And although we might like to think that time is very concrete, it's not flexible, but it's actually very flexible in nature. We would always find some time to take care of our family members. So it is indeed our responsibility to take care of the elderly in our homes. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, student number 4. Some love in the audience there. Let's welcome student 2 back to the stage. Okay, and student 2's topic is online friendships can be just as meaningful as offline friendships. Your time starts now.
Have you ever felt like you were isolated from the rest of the world? Like you didn't fit into the society standards, that you felt like you were left out from other people? This is what I felt like for such a long time. A lot of people in our society, they still don't want to accept the idea that having online friends is just as important as having offline friends. We believe that having online friends is just a waste of time. They're just temporary people that we've never seen in real life. So what's the point of talking with them? This is what I really felt for a long time. I remember how for such a long time during my high school, I felt like I was left out. My peers, my classmates, they thought that I was a weirdo. We didn't have common interests that we shared together. I felt like the whole world was abandoning me. I felt like I was at the edge of committing suicide. But then I found a decision that really helped me to cure my depression. I downloaded a lot of social media platforms, which helped me to find many online friends. I found friends from all across the world, from many countries, from different cultural backgrounds, who had different religions, different ethnicities. But there was one thing that made us all special and which connected us all together. This was the point that we had common interests. They found me as a meaningful person. They thought that I had a deserve to live, that I was an important human being. So they found me as an interesting person. And I remember that since that time, I would talk with them again and again. Every day, I would complain a lot about my problems. And so this is how they actually cured my depression. And when I talked to my parents about having online friends, they told me that it was disgusting. It was a great shame. How is that possible that a girl like me talks with some strangers online? You don't know them. They have masks on their face. So what's the point of talking with them? But my parents didn't know what was happening with my life when I was at the edge of committing suicide. So I'm really happy. And I just want to share you guys that we should treat people who have online friends as equal human beings as those who have offline friends. I'm still happy that I have many of great people who are always online. I've never seen them in real life before, but still it doesn't mean that we don't share common things together. So I hope that this lesson was really valuable for you guys. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you very much, student 2. Our last performance in this round is student number 1. And student number 1's topic is people should be forced to take a parenting course before having children. Your time starts now.
For centuries, parenting has always been considered as one of the most amazing happiness, right? But I think that at the same time, parenting is also considered as one of the most major and huge responsibility and challenge for a lot of parents. Um, every year, millions of children are born. Some grow up with a lot of beautiful memories of their childhood, but some might not be that lucky. But so I would say the question here is, should parents be forced to take the parenting course before they have children? Well, I would say personally, my answer would be no. Why? Because parenting at the end of the day is a natural process. And any natural process should also demand the natural, the natural ways. I mean, here it's more about the parents growing up with the children themselves and learning from misunderstanding rather than learning something in theory and then the same for everyone, right? So let me tell you my story. 18 years old, I actually don't grow up living with my parents. When I was born, my parents were all working far away from home. So I actually spent my whole childhood living with my grandparents. So I think that's also part of the reason why my relationship with my parents is not really that good. Every time that I share with them my plans, they always say, no, I don't think it's a good way for you. When last year, when I tell my mom, hey, mom, I want to come here to Hong Kong and start my university education here, my mom said, no, how are you going to take care of yourself? Are you sure you know how to cook? Or are you just going outside and then like spend all the money buying your stuff? I don't think it's a good idea. But then while looking from that story, that's also a good way for me to understand more about my mom because my mom, at the end of the day, she's also a normal human being. And because of our time far apart from each other, we don't really have a lot of opportunities to understand why each other acts a way like that. But then growing up, I also really cherish those moments because from misunderstanding, we can sit down and have dialogue with each other. So and also just imagine if my mom also takes parenting course like other moms or dads outside, then it's not no longer my mom anymore. And my pure mom is the version that I love the most. So I would say that yeah, at the end of the day, we also have to think that I might change a little bit. Instead of saying parents should be forced to take parenting course, I would say it would be better if we say parents should be encouraged to take parenting course because learning some basic things like how to take shower of newborns or like talking to newborns, maybe playing some music for them to educate from an early age, still very very necessary steps for parents to yeah, really have better parenting. So in conclusion, I would say that parenting at the end of the day is also a normal process. And yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much to all 5 of you. So now we're going to calculate the scores. While we're doing that, I will check in with our 3 judges for some comments and some feedback on the impromptu speech round.
It is nerve-wracking to do an impromptu speech, so I think it's really surprising to see all these contestants performing so well, so presentable and so clear with all the well-structured speeches. So yeah, I'm very proud to have all these students being our university students here representing us. Whoever going to win, I think they should all be very proud of themselves. So yeah, job well done.
Definitely. Thank you. Daniel, anything to add?
Yes, similar, very similar thought to Angels. I think they all deserve to be the winners, not gonna lie. Like, they're all very confident, their messages are very clear. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Sherry. What would you like to add?
For me, because I myself, I am really afraid of giving the impromptu speech. I hate to improvise every time. So I think they did it really well because when it comes to impromptu speech, they have to overcome a lot of barriers like language problems, and they also need to care about their like body language and so on. So I think they did it really well. Yeah, and I learned a lot from them.
So thank you, judges. Maybe you can share a little bit about what you're looking for in the content in this round, because they just have such a short time to prepare. How can the content be really in depth like in the first round?
Well, personally, I think I first look at how it's being structured, with a key statement to talk about their stance, because the questions are thrown at them with only 20 minutes of preparation, and it's asking them to take a stance. So they must support their stance with the reason why, not only on a personal level, probably. I will look for some more extensive, relevant information taken in other perspectives instead of just talking about themselves. That particular speech with more extensive like tentacles and tapping onto other levels probably will be my first, but I'm not giving it away. But
of course,
I look at. And then secondly, of course, is word choice and then syntactic structures, especially in the impromptu speeches. You tend to make mistakes, right?
Yes.
And sometimes we lost track of our time as well. So it's very challenging. So I'm still very proud of all of these students.
Yeah, as I would be as well, yes. Daniel, how about the presentation skills? Are there any standout things you are looking for?
Yeah, so I would definitely gonna keep looking at whether they're able to make use of more public speaking techniques. For example, the use of body language and whether they're able to adjust their tone, pace, etc., in order to convey their meanings. And I think I also look at whether they're in terms of relevancy, whether they are talking about something off topic because it is impromptu speech, and sometimes maybe the contestants would talk about something not so relevant to the question itself.
Yes, it's very easy to do, I think. I would be doing that for sure if I were up here doing impromptu speeches. So they all did a very good job, that's for sure. So now I think I would invite Professor Wang, the head of our center, to present the certificates to the top 5 candidates. Okay, so fifth place. Oh, let me get the right slide. Sorry. For 5th place, let's welcome student number 9. And Ali's going to take a picture together. Please take a picture together first. Yeah. Okay, for 4th, so this is, I think, the wrong order. Yeah, it's the wrong order. 5th place first. This one is the 5th place certificate. Please take another photo. Sorry, Kelsey, please can we have one more photo? Okay, thank you. Number 9. For 4th place, let's welcome student number 7. Congratulations. Well done. So 3rd place is student number 1. Congratulations. Second place. I feel we need a bit of a build up to this one. We have a drum roll at the back. Second place goes to student number 2. Congratulations. So the winner of LingnanSpeaks 2026 and of 1,500 Hong Kong dollars is student number 4. Congratulations. Thank you everyone for your participation and support.